Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is the continuation of the series that I wrote, If Only We Noticed, and this is episode 3. It's been written for a long time now, and I should have uploaded it when I first wrote it, but I didn't. And yeah, it's my fault to be honest. So I hope you like it, and I hope it makes up for all the time that I missed. So thank you, and let's get going. A year later, the sharp edges of grief had softened, replaced by a dull and persistent ache that sometimes flared, but mostly simmered beneath the surface of your life. The apartment, once a tomb of sorrow, now hummed with a quiet and comfortable rhythm. Baku and Kirishima, your steadfast anchors, had woven themselves even more deeply into the fabric of your existence, their presence a constant, reassuring hum. Life, against all odds, had found a way to move forward. Then, the morning sickness started. It began subtly, a faint queasiness that would ebb and flow. Soon, it became a daily ritual, waking with a jolt of nausea, sometimes dry heaving for an hour, sometimes just an unsettling churn in your stomach that lingered through breakfast. You dismissed it as a lingering stress symptom, maybe a new, annoying sensitivity to coffee. Your period was late too, but that wasn't unusual. Your cycle had been erratic since everything. You barely registered it until the craving started. Pickles and chocolate, separately, and then together. The thought of salty, briny pickles, followed by the rich sweetness of chocolate, or vice versa, made your mouth water in a way that defied all logic. You found yourself sneaking extra jerkins from the fridge, and then melting chocolate bars into gooey puddles that you'd devour with spoons. Kirishima would raise an eyebrow, a teasing smile playing on his lips, while Bakugo would just grunt, but neither commented on your bizarre culinary adventures. One morning, as you knelt in front of the toilet, the acrid taste of bile in your mouth, a cold dread began to creep in. The pieces, desperate and unrelated, until now, began to click into place with terrifying precision. The nausea, the missed period, the inexplainable cravings that you had. No, it couldn't be. Not again, right? You stood on shaky legs, your reflection in the bathroom mirror, pale and drawn. Your hand went to your abdomen, the familiar flatness a stark reminder of the loss that still haunted you. Could it be a phantom pregnancy, your body playing cruel tricks on your mind again? Or worse, a repeat of the past, a silent, unseen tragedy unfolding once more? Panic began to coil in your gut, tighter and colder than any morning sickness. You needed to know. You needed a test. The pharmacy felt like a mile away, each step heavy with apprehension. You grabbed not one, but 4 pregnancy tests, just in case. 1 negative, 3 positive. The results stared back at you, stark and undeniable. 3 pink lines screamed pregnant, while a single lonely stick echoed your deepest fear. Your mind reeled, trying to reconcile the conflicting messages, the desperate hope battling with the crushing weight of past trauma. You needed definitive proof, something beyond the flickering reassurance of a home kit, an ultrasound. The word alone made your stomach clench. The last time, it had been a confirmation of loss, not life. The waiting room at the clinic felt endless, each tick of the clock amplifying your anxiety. When your name was called on, you walked into the examination room with leaden feet, a tremor running through you. You laid back on the table, your hands clasped tightly over your stomach, a silent prayer forming on your lips. The cold gel, the familiar pressure of the wand against your skin. You held your breath, staring at the screen, willing it to show you something. anything. Then, a tiny, flickering shape appeared. A little bean, no bigger than your thumbnail, but undeniably there. And then a sound, a tiny, rapid thump. That's the heartbeat, the nurse said, her voice gentle, her eyes warm. Congratulations, you're approximately 8 weeks along. Everything looks perfect. The words hit you like a wave, washing away the fear and doubt, leaving behind a tidal wave of pure and adulterated relief. Tears streamed down your face, hot and silent, a mix of joy and the ghost of past sorrows. You were pregnant, truly, wonderfully pregnant. You walked out of the clinic with the ultrasound picture clutched in your hand, a tiny, precious photograph of your future. The drive home was a blur of emotions. Excitement bubbled within you, a warmth spreading through your chest that you hadn't felt in a long, long time. You couldn't wait to tell Bakugo and Kirishima. This wasn't just your news, it was theirs as well, a shared hope that would bind you even closer. You decided a special announcement was in order, a small, intimate celebration just for the three of you. A party, you thought, a secret reveal over dinner. You started planning immediately, a frantic energy propelling you forward. First, the dress. You needed something beautiful, something that you would subtly hint at the incredible secret that you held. You found a soft, flowing dress in a delicate blush color that made you feel both radiant and serene. Next, you subtly hinted to Bakugo and Kirishima about a demanding afternoon at their agencies, ensuring that they'd be returning home late. The apartment transformed. Under your excitement, you whipped up their favorite dinner, a rich, slow-cooked beef stew, the aroma of garlic and rosemary, filling the air with a comforting honey scent. The living room became a heaven of subtle elegance, strung with soft, warm lights, and adorned with fresh flowers. He even compiled a list of movies, a mix of classic comedies and heartfelt dramas, anticipating an evening that would be filled with a spectrum of emotions. As dusk settled, casting long shadows across the room, you waited, a nervous flutter in your stomach that had nothing to do with morning sickness. Then, the familiar sound of keys rattling, the turn of the lock, the front door swung open, and they were home. Baku entered first, his crimson eyes immediately finding yours. He crossed the room in a few strides, pulling you into a tight hug, his hand cupping the back of your head as he pressed a kiss to your forehead. Long day, he grunted, but his voice held a familiar affection as he moved towards the couch. Kirishima followed, his usual energy softened by the day's work. He wrapped you in a tight embrace, his chin resting on your shoulder, before pressing a warm kiss to your cheek. "Hey, beautiful," he murmured, his scent of sandalwood and something, him, enveloping you. You let them settle, let the mundane comfort of their presence wash over you, and then, over dinner, in the middle of the clinking and the humming of conversation, you took a deep breath. "I have something important to tell you," you said, your voice a little shaky, but filled with a bubbling excitement. Their eyes met yours, patient and attentive. You looked at them, at the two men who had held you together through the darkest of times. You told them everything, the morning sickness, the strange cravings, the tests, and finally, the ultrasound. You reached for the carefully folded paper that you'd placed beside your plate, unfolding it to reveal the tiny, blurry image, the baby. Silence descended, thick with disbelief. Baku's eyes widened, his fork clattering against his plate. Kirishima gasped, his hand flying to his mouth. For a moment, they just stared at the image, and then at you, then back, as if trying to reconcile the impossible. And then the dam broke. Bakugo was the first to move, surging from his seat and pulling you into a crushing embrace. His hands, usually so rough, were surprisingly gentle as they splayed across your back and then tentatively moved to your stomach. You're serious, he rasped, his voice thick with a raw emotion that you hadn't heard since that devastating day a year ago. His eyes, usually so fierce, were bright with unshed tears. Kirishima was right behind him, wrapping his strong arms around you, effectively sandwiching Bakugo accidentally between their overwhelming joy. "A baby," he whispered, his voice cracking. "We're having a child, Wyan." He buried his face in your hair, his shoulders shaking with silent sobs of happiness. They showered your face with kisses, their hands caressing your belly, as if they could already feel the tiny life within. This time, the tears that streamed down your face were not of grief, but instead they were of profound, overwhelming joy. This time, you were not alone. This time there was hope, and this time you knew that everything would be different. He decided to make the announcement special, a small, intimate celebration of this new beginning. A party, just the three of you, a secret that you would reveal over dinner. Thanks for listening, and I hope that you like this video. Please tell me what you think the gender of the baby is going to be, and maybe, actually, I'll make a voting poll, and the gender that wins, I'm going to make that gender the baby. Yeah, that wasn't obvious. Well, anyways, thank you, and bye-bye.